Yeah, most likely my next fight would be Georges St-Pierre. It looks like his recovery from his knee surgery is ahead of schedule, and I think we're looking at maybe November 17th for our title fight. George is, obviously one of the best welterweights in the world, the best welterweight in the world. I'm really excited to fight him. He's a guy that I've looked up to in the sport for a really long time. As far as the fight it's a pretty tough task. George has got great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu, really good stand-up. So I'm just going to have to, improve quite a bit over the next couple months, and I think I'll be able to fight a good fight. George is very well-rounded. He's got some dangerous stand-up, as he's shown in a lot of his fights. His ground is very good also. As far his ground game, he's great with his takedowns, and his control on the bottom or on the ground is very good. In the past, he's had some problems actually submitting guys. I think his control, his top control is probably his best skill, and so that's something that I'm going to have to try to overcome. Yeah, I'm going to be working a lot on my wrestling, a lot on my takedown defense, and then a lot on my jiu-jitsu and my ground game, because Georges St-Pierre is probably one of the best wrestlers in the sport. Most likely I'm going to end up on my back or on the ground, and it's what I can do from there that'll really make a difference in the fight. Martin Kampmann and Johnny Hendricks, they're great fighters. Martin Kampmann has been on a pretty incredible run. He's finished two really tough guys in his last two fights, Thiago Alves and Jake Ellenberger. Johnny Hendricks, he's got a big win over Fitch, and then a pretty close fight with Josh Koscheck, and they're both top contenders without a doubt. I think a lot of it depends on George, whether he's going to be ready to fight in November, which it looks like he's going to be. I want to fight Georges St-Pierre right now. If I can't fight George, then we'll talk about other possibilities. Yeah, well, I was training to fight Georges St-Pierre last year. I was supposed to fight him in October. That fight fell through because he hurt his knee. And basically, we're just going with the same formula that we were going with back then. Greg Jackson's completely stepping out of the picture. I have a guy named Chris Luttrell, who is one of Greg Jackson's black belts, heading up my camp. And he's a phenomenal coach himself, and and then I'm just working with Mike Winklejohn, and then some other coaches that are kind of assistants over at Greg. So I have a great coaching staff, and and it's not really a Jon Jones, Rashad Evans situation. There's no bad blood. It's just it's just how it is, what it is. Well, my ground game and my jiu-jitsu has been a big part of my success. I have 13 of my wins by submission. Being well-rounded, not only being good at stand-up but also being good on the ground has been the reason why I'm at where I'm at. My ground game's pretty solid. There's always room for improvement. I know just like MMA evolves, Jiu-Jitsu is a constantly evolving thing, and I think because I have quite a bit of time between now and the next fight in November, I have a lot of time to really work on a lot of stuff and make a lot of improvements in that area. I'm not going to be satisfied until I reunify the belts and until I get a chance to fight George and unify the belt. But it's it's a very proud moment in my career. I've been fighting professionally for 10 years, and worked really hard to be where I'm at, and to finally be have achieved some of my goals in the sport is just it's been amazing. Well, I've had a belt before when I was in WEC when I was a lot younger, and have had probably not to the same extent, but had things blow up for me, and kind of got off track, and I made a lot of mistakes back then when I was younger, and I've learned from that. I know that I really just need to stay focused on what got me here, working hard, improving, constantly learning and improving my game. Sticking with the people that have been there since the beginning, and it's things change. You just have to stay focused, and you can't change when everything's changing around you. Jon's a young guy, and his success and everything that's come with it has come really quick. Sometimes it's hard to adjust and hard to kind of wrap your mind around everything that's happening around you. And a lot of it comes with experience. He's a young guy for as well spoken and as incredible as he is in the cage. He's young, and he's got a lot of growing up to do. And I think that he is a good guy. He is that guy that we see on TV, and he makes mistakes. He's a human. He's not some some superhero, some guy that's above everything. He's just a regular guy, and I think that he's definitely going to learn from his mistakes, learn from the situation that he's found himself in, and grow from it, and just come out the other side stronger. The game plan was to use a lot of mobility. It was to hit Nick with big shots. Try to take him out with spinning elbows, knees, big punches, but not get into extended exchanges with him, because that's where Nick is really good. So it was basically to stick and move. Nick is he's a great fighter. Got a lot of respect for him. I knew that fighting a smart strategy against him would give me the opportunity to come out with a win and come out with an interim belt. I think we fought a pretty smart fight. I would have liked to have finished the fight, but Nick is really hard to finish, and it went well. That's the first time I've employed a game plan like that, and of course I think that there's improvements to be made, but all in all I think it obviously went pretty well. Well, I don't think that it necessarily matters whether it's on the feet or on the ground. I just have to keep things moving. George St. Pierre is very good at controlling, especially gets on top. Very tight top control. In the stand-up, very technical. He controls the space very well. I need to keep things moving. I need to create a lot of chaos, and create a lot of scrambles, especially on the ground, especially in wrestling situations where he probably has the edge, without a doubt. I just need to create scrambles and keep things moving, and I think that's where I have my best chance. I love jiu-jitsu. From the first day I walked into an MMA gym, I started learning my ground game, and when people ask me what I like better, stand up or grappling jiu-jitsu, I can't tell them. It's too hard. I absolutely love jiu-jitsu, and have had, since the first day, like I said, that I walked into MMA gym, I was hooked, because of the ground game. When I was a young kid, watching Royce Gracie, that's the reason that I got into mixed martial arts, because I saw that the guys, the grapplers, and the wrestlers did so well, and I was wrestling at the time, and I said, I saw those guys and how well they did, and I said, I could probably do that. But I started practicing jiu-jitsu when I was about 15 years old, and I'm 28 now, so I don't know, 12, 13 years, something like that. It's incredible. When I first started my career, it was kind of in the dark ages. UFC wasn't on television. Guys starting out really didn't have an avenue to actually get to the UFC. And for the first 4, maybe 5 years of my career, that's how it was. And then about 5, maybe 6 years ago, the sport really started taking off. And to see the contrast between how it was and how it is now, with the popularity and the exposure and the money, it's just it's really, really incredible. I think it's a slippery slope. You know what I mean? You let guys start using testosterone, and it's where does it end? You know what I mean? I wonder, especially for younger guys. I know Frank Mir's a little bit older, and of course your testosterone levels kind of dip as you get older. But some of these younger guys, guys maybe in their late 20s and 30s using testosterone replacement therapy. I wonder, why is their testosterone low in the first place? And my theory is that they may have been using something in the past, because when you use steroids, your body, after you get off, has a hard time bringing yourself up to natural levels. And I don't know, man. I'm not going to judge anybody, but that's just that's not. I've got to where I am without ever using any performance enhancing drugs. I love MMA because of the purity of the sport, and I think that it just muddies the water when you start throwing stuff like that in there. And ultimately, that's not up to me to decide. That's for athletic commissions, and I guess Dana White and the UFC brass to figure out what they're going to do with that. But personally, that's just I have to just continue with what's worked for me, and that's just being clean. Greg Jackson has been teaching MMA for going on 20 years. Before the mainstream knew what UFC was, knew what MMA was. He was perfecting what we know as mixed martial arts, and I think that's a big part of the success over at our gym. We've been doing it in Albuquerque for a really long time, and right now we have guys coming from all over the world. We got guys from Russia. We got guys from from all over Europe. Japanese guys coming in. People bringing in different skill sets. Come in there to learn, but also to teach what they know. It's really an incredible deal that we got going on down there. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm not sure if that's going on anywhere else in the world as far as at MMA camps. With just the diversity of skill sets and people and backgrounds that we have down there. I really think that that's a big part of the success of Jackson's, and why you see so many great fighters coming out of there.